Welcome to all of you in Sankalpa Education Pratham classes. I am Sachin Patel, delivered lecture on mathematical logic. It is a first chapter in mathematics part 1, and we know that about this logical connectives, that means and, or, not, if, then, if and only if. Right now we are going with one connection, and it is nothing but compound statement which is done, and it is named as a conjunction. In conjunction, first of all, we have to think what is the conjunction. We know that the statements are denoted by small letters, and if in conjunction, if two statements are combined using connective and, then it is called as conjunction. What does it mean? If two statements are connected by using and as a logical connective, that means this word work as a logical connectives between two statements. At that time, this is called as a conjunction. Let us consider, let P and Q are two statements. We know that about the statement is a sentence. It is a declarative sentence, or statement is an assertive sentence which having either true or false, but both simultaneously are not considered the statement, and the statement is only true or false, having truth value as a true or false, not both simultaneously. Now P and Q, first of all, what is the conjunction of these two statements as a considered? P and Q are statements, then you have to get the consideration P and Q is called as a conjunction. Is called as a conjunction. Let us consider, for example, P is a first statement. And it is nothing but a milk is green. And a second statement is a grass is white. These two statements are connected by using the logical connectives, and that means you will get the conjunction of these two statements. That means P and Q, and the statement is written like that one: milk is green and grass is white. This statement is a compound statement, and inside this statement and is considered as a logical connective, and therefore this compound statement is considered as a conjunction. And conjunction notation for the conjunction is notation for conjunction is nothing but P and Q. That means this is the notation for the conjunction, and it is a read as P and Q. Now, what is the rule of the truth value of that compound statement? And this rule is considered right now. First of all, what is the rule of truth value of conjunction. Truth value of conjunction. What is the rule for the truth value of conjunction? That means when the truth value of this compound statement is a true, and when truth value of this compound statement is a false, it is considered inside this rule if both statements in conjunction are having truth value false, that is f, truth value false, that is f, then truth value of sorry to say that if both statement in conjunction are having truth value true, that is t, then truth value of conjunction is true, that is t. That means if both statement inside the conjunction are having the truth value true, then you will get the true, otherwise false, that is f. That means conjunction is true if both statement considered inside the conjunction are true, otherwise the statement having the truth value is a false. For example, two statements are connected by and, then you will get the conjunction. Later to consider milk is green, and sun rises to east. In this consideration and is a connective, logical connective, and due to that logical connective, this compound statement is a conjunction, and inside this you will get the two statements. First is milk is green, this is the one statement, and second statement is sun rises to east. What is the truth value of milk is green? Milk is white. Then this statement having the truth value is a false. And is a logical connective, and it is written like that one, or it is denoted like that one, false. Then sun rises to east, it is having the truth value true. That means one statement is a false and another statement is a true, but our rule for truth value of conjunction says that if both statement having the truth value true, then your conjunction is true, otherwise false. That means this truth value of that compound statement or conjunction is a false, because one is a false and another is a true. Right now consider another example. This is the first example. Second one is considered as a milk is white, and 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. Here once again both statements are connected by using and, that means this compound statement becomes a conjunction. And milk is white, it consists of the two statements, that means milk is white, it is a true statement, and another statement is nothing but 2 plus 3 is equal to 5, it is also true statement. That means both statements are true, and our rule says that both statement in the conjunction are having truth value is true, then truth value of conjunction is true. That means this truth value of this statement is true, and therefore by using this consideration you will get the truth table for the conjunction. And this is the consideration of our next discussion, that means truth table for conjunction, inside which we will take the table, and in table we will get the three columns are here. First column is related to statement P, and second column is related to statement Q, and third column it is nothing but a P and Q. That means a conjunction of these two statements. If truth value of both statement are true, at that time conjunction is a true, and if truth value of first statement is a true, another statement is a false, at that time it becomes a false. Then similarly we will take the consideration of false is here, true is here. Both statement are not true, and therefore it is a becomes a false. And last consideration related to that one is a false and false. Both statement are false, you will get the false, and this is the truth table related to conjunction. That means inside the conjunction, if both statement are true, then you will get the true, otherwise a false. Inside the consideration of this truth table of conjunction, if both statement are true, then it is becomes true, otherwise it becomes a false. And this is a rule related to the conjunction of two statements. Now we are going with the next compound statement. That means you are going with a disjunction. Disjunction. Inside the disjunction, we have to consider first of all what is the definition of that disjunction. If two statements are combined, what you can see also connected using connective or is a connective between the two statement, it is called as disjunction. That means disjunction is nothing but a combination of two statements inside which we are going with two statements are connected by using or. Let us to consider, let P and Q are two statements, and you will get the consideration of P or Q. That means two statements are connected by using or. At that time it is called as a disjunction. For example, once again we have to get the consideration of first statement is milk is green, and the second statement is grass is white. If these two statements are connected by using a or statement or word, then it is called as a disjunction, and therefore disjunction is given as P or Q, and it is written like that one: milk is green or grass is white. And this compound statement is nothing but considered as a disjunction. Here the connective or logical connective used as a or, and two statements are connected by using or, then it is called as a disjunction of this statement. Notation of this statement, the notation is like that one. Notation is considered as P or Q. Read as considered as P or Q. Read as P or Q. Now we are going with the rule of truth value of disjunction. Inside this, if in rule of that disjunction, first of all we have to consider if both statements in disjunction are having truth value false, truth value false, that is F. If both statement in disjunction are having truth value false, that is F, then truth value of disjunction is false, that is F, otherwise true, that is T. This is your rule for the disjunction. That means if we considered once again, for example, first example is related to that one. Milk is green, or grass is white. Once again, here we see that the two statements are connected by using a or. That means this is a compound statement, is called as a disjunction, and inside this first statement is nothing but a milk is green, that means it is a false statement, and grass is white, it is another statement, and it is also false statement. That means both statements are false. Both statements in disjunction are having the truth value is a false, then disjunction is a false. That means the truth value of this complete compound statement is a false. Now we have to consider another example is here. Second one example is milk is white, or grass is white. Inside this, once again, two statements are connected by using a logical connective or. That means this combination of these two statements is nothing but a disjunction. Inside this, you will get the first statement is nothing but a milk is white, it is a true statement, and grass is white, it is another false statement is here, and the combination of this disjunction according to rule, it is a true statement. And therefore you will get the truth table for disjunction as you have to consider once again three columns are here. First column is related to P, second column is related to Q, and third column is related to P or Q. Once again, here is the notation, it is nothing but the or notation, and P or Q is considered. And inside this, we know that the rule of that is if both statements are false, then you will get the false, otherwise it is a true. And therefore first statement is a true, second statement is a true, you will get the ORing of these two statement is a true. First statement is a true, second statement is a false, then it is a also true. First statement is a false, second statement is a true, then it is a true, and both statement are false, then it becomes a false, otherwise you will get the consideration of this one. It is related to disjunction of two statements, and this is the consideration of that one.